opportunity to appear at City Council, going back and forth with the funding for schools issue. After being down there and observing the operations of the City Council, some of that in which I was very displeased with, I felt was very disrespectful to the citizens who had voted on them. I thought then that this is very precarious that we would even be here. One of the things in particular that irritated me was the night that we went full force. We got all the parents out, and we had the parents and their children. We were there at 3:30. When it turned 7 o'clock, they had not called the first parent to speak. I immediately got up and I went and approached and I asked Councilman Collins if it would be possible for them to go ahead and call the parents and allow them to speak, because they have their children with them. Tomorrow's a school day and they need to get the kids home to bed. Well, I was told then no. And then I realized that this is a strategy. The longer they wait, in which, true enough, parents started taking their children home. So that irritated me. This last one did it. I think it is absolutely ludicrous, the fiasco that I witnessed take place between the City Council and the school board based on an issue that I know is simply common sense. We have the children are in the community, the children must be educated. So goes the city, so goes the community, so goes everything we have invested. So then I decided, stop complaining, Rhoda, and sitting around the dinner table. Every Sunday I cook and my family comes over. We were having this discussion, and my son said, Mom, I really think you should run for City Council. Didn't pay it any attention, but on my family and my feelings, that's why I got into this race.
What are some experiences that you have had in your past that would make you a good City Council member?
I think my experiences, I started just my education period. I am a native Memphian. I was educated in the Memphis City school system. I graduated as a junior, but I graduated with no aspirations whatsoever of going to school. Why? I didn't like school. Why did I not like school? I found school not to be challenging. I immediately, after graduation from high school, assumed the role of a teacher assistant with Memphis City Schools. I worked that position and got married, had a child. Then I went back and announced to my parents, now I'm ready to go to college. And they shared with me that I now had a husband and that was not their responsibility. And I was torn. Mm-hmm. My father said, that's between you and your husband, now how you will fund your education. At that particular time, the Memphis City School Board had elected, started a program called COP, Career Opportunities Program. In the COP program, it afforded any teacher's assistants who wanted to pursue a career in teaching. They would pay tuition, transportation stipend, and I held on to that. I took advantage of that. I held on to that full-time position, which meant I went to school, University of Memphis, Memphis State then, every night of the week, because I had Tuesday, Thursday classes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, a husband, a child, a house, and every summer, being off from teacher assistant's position, I went full-time in the summer. Now, the average person, it takes them 4 years to get a college degree. It took me 7 because of everything else that I had going on. I did graduate, completed my BS in elementary education in 78 from the University of Memphis. And immediately became a teacher. After getting into the profession, I love teaching. I love children. There's nothing more rewarding to me than when you're working with a child to see their light go off. All of a sudden they get it. So that was rewarding to me. But having been a teacher, I watched the administrators. And I always vowed, well, now, If I were an administrator, you know how we do when we watch other people. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. So, went back to school, received my degree in administration and supervision, and decided to toss my name in the hat. I secured 2 positions at the same time. I became assistant principal at Westwood Elementary, and immediately after first year was surplus. And then I became assistant principal at Grandwood Elementary, where I remained for 3 years. Being placed at Grandwood also gave me some additional challenges. Fought and fought and fought, and after 3 years there, Superintendent Jerry House, because of things that I had apprised her of, called me into her office, and I didn't know what I had done, but she offered me the position of principal at Garden View. I remained at Garden View for 9 years, where the school had a very caring and loving atmosphere. The school made AYP. All 9 years under my administration, it became a family, and it was a culture of learners. So, that being said, I thought that I would retire principal, and then Superintendent Carol Johnson, prior to her departure, offered me the position of Director of Parent and Community Engagement because of her experiences at the school, seeing how the community and the parents had really, she couldn't find a parking spot. And then she came over for Mothers for Mom, and she was just so amazed that the mothers, how they were still coming. But that's what happens when you have your teachers buy into your vision, and it was that type of atmosphere. So with my administrative background of budgeting and all the things, all of the skills that it takes to run a school successfully, I feel that I am very, very qualified.
With you're talking about the budget, can you tell us what your thoughts are in how the $57 million should have been handled with the city council and the school board, and what you would have worked to do differently if you were on city council?
If I had been on city council, what I found was I saw a struggle, a power struggle of adults. I think that Dr. Harrington was the mayor at that time, and the advice that he gave to the city council initially was to approve the budget and fund the schools. And I think that was a very wise recommendation on his part. Had I been a city council member, I think I would have been very, very proactive in trying to convince my colleagues that this battle that they were about to pursue was not one to be fought. There were other issues and there were other areas in the city that I think they could have looked at cutting the budget in other areas. I think that there are a lot of decisions. I'm a very opinionated person, so there are a lot of things that the city council does that I'm just totally not in favor of. For instance, I'm a taxpayer. The city council has the authority to approve these businesses coming in, and they let them in with practically no tax. I think that they have the authority and the power to put stipulations in that to say, with just the tax break that they're giving them alone, that there should be some guarantee for offers of jobs to the residents in the Memphis area. These businesses come in here, they secure, they don't pay taxes, and the citizens of Memphis end up suffering because what happens, residents from Arkansas, residents from Mississippi come into Memphis, they earn their funds, they take their dollars out. Nothing is left here to support the citizens of Memphis. That plant that caught on fire maybe 3 weeks ago, Vasco, as the news reported, I sat there amazed. They were bringing in employees every Monday as far away as Oklahoma. Now that is absolutely ridiculous. It seems just it would be a simple remedy that they have the power, and that in effect would help our economic development and our job employment situation here in the city.
Why do you think they brought in from outside of the city?
It's, a lot of times our company